An executive and his team's exciting weekend retreat goes awry when they suddenly find themselves fighting for survival. In the national park, Gwen steps out of her tent unaware of the man watching from behind the bushes. Searching for her boyfriend, she calls out his name only for him to suddenly surprise her. Gwen then playfully hits him for scaring her and complains about her bad hangover. Tom responds by howling, claiming it's his mating call. Suddenly, someone howls from a distance, making the couple realize they're not alone. Just then, a ranger appears, ordering Tom to follow him. Thinking he can be trusted, the camper complies, advising his girlfriend to stay behind. Left alone, Gwen encounters a tall man named Josiah, prompting her to run and call for her boyfriend. However, she trips, witnessing the ranger ending her boyfriend's life. Scared for her life, the woman runs, but a few more men appear and chase after her. She is quickly caught and locked in a cell. Later, Gwen is released but tied in bed upon Mother Ruth's orders. As she struggles, Josiah arrives to take advantage of her. Meanwhile, Johnny, a senior executive of a sporting goods company, gathers the employees to announce the year's corporate survival event. To demonstrate, he plays a video of men in fatigues engaged in a paintball fight, explaining that the retreat will be named Executive Tactics and will feature a two-team battle royale. Johnny adds that the excursion is a fully paid evaluation review, revealing that the winning team will earn an extra week's salary. The next day, the two teams head to the national park in Northern California where their retreat will take place. While inside Team Alpha's car, Lee can't help but admire the scenery. This observation prompts Johnny, who's wearing an FBI cap, to suggest they go hunting. Perry agrees, expressing his plan to take home a big elk's head and hang it on the office wall. When Benson isn't enthusiastic about the idea, Johnny reminds him to cooperate because they will all be evaluated for team participation. Following this, Johnny uses his radio to contact Basso from Team Beta, instructing him to pull over at the next exit. Soon, both teams arrive at the gas station. When Benson's about to fill the tank, he notices a weird local on a motorcycle looking at him judgingly. Meanwhile, Johnny, Lee, and Maggie head into the bar. There, they encounter the barman, Jethro, who quietly directs them to the restroom. In the back area, Basso and Perry practice their shooting skills. They're startled when they see a kid running by. Assuming the child is scared, Perry reassures him they're using paintball guns. Later, Benson enters the bar and tries to pay with a credit card. When Jethro just stares at him, he pulls out his wallet and pays with cash. Nearby, Lee spots a little pig inside a water-filled jar. She's surprised when she sees a wild pig's head behind her, only to realize it's just Perry playing a prank. Following this, Lee goes outside with Maggie but gets distracted by a poster of a missing couple. After his talk with Jethro, Johnny informs the employees that the barman directed them to a less crowded spot for their paintball-themed retreat. Meanwhile, Mother Ruth checks on the pregnant Gwen, claiming her baby belongs to them. Accepting her fate, the captive nods and promises not to run away again. Following the barman's advice, the teams arrive at a less crowded spot and finds a cold spring. While his colleagues swim, Adam studies the map, discovering that the area used to be a military reservation. Just then, Benson hears a strange noise behind him. He follows the sound and discovers a lifeless animal hanging on the tree, prompting him to tell everyone. Johnny suspects it's a hunter's prize, but Lee thinks it might have been left intentionally. Benson agrees, guessing it could be a marker. Perry, however, points out that it's a common sight in forests. Following this, the two teams separate to set up tents on the other side of the lake. Later, Perry goes fishing and retrieves some beer cans from the water while Johnny flirts with Lee. After teasing the couple, Perry turns to Benson, assuming Lee will soon be promoted to assistant to the senior executive because she's close to Johnny. Annoyed, Benson retorts that, like everyone else, she will be evaluated too. That night, Team Alpha video calls Team Beta to discuss their upcoming paintball fight. Johnny proposes a toast and wishes them luck. Unbeknownst to them, someone is lurking behind the bushes. Later, while everyone's sleeping, Johnny sneaks out of his tent to visit Lee's. Minutes later, Benson leaves his tent too, hearing the couple's noise. He then turns on his flashlight only to discover strange footsteps. Meanwhile, Lee reminds Johnny that they should stop, as they agreed to end the relationship after his promotion. However, the senior executive insists that the rules in a new place differ from those in Los Angeles. In response, Lee explains that she's tired of the judgmental looks of their colleagues. She reveals that she's requested a transfer to get away from him. Outside, Benson follows the footsteps and is relieved to discover they belong to Perry, who's taking a leak. The The following day, Johnny wakes everyone with an air horn. In response, Basso blasts it back to confirm they're ready. Later, when Benson refuses to wear the blue fatigues, Johnny orders him to comply. Lee then volunteers to help him get dressed. Once geared up, both teams head into the woods ready to face off. Meanwhile, the Team Beta ends up in a different area. When Basso realizes they're lost, he suggests they keep moving until they find their opponents. Later, Johnny discovers a trap on their path. While the others suspect it might be Team Beta's work, Benson disagrees. He points out that something is off because there are no signs in the park. Benson suggests contacting the other team to alert the local authorities. However, Perry dismisses him, claiming that what they found is just an abandoned hunting net. Still, Benson insists, sharing that he sensed someone watching them in the woods. Johnny then disregards him, wanting to continue the event and asking for the next point. Benson opens the map and directs them to head northwest. As they move forward, Johnny spots someone moving and uses his binoculars. Suspecting it's Basso, feeling competitive, Perry shoots the running man 3 times to score for the team. Immediately after, Johnny contacts the other team, teasing Basso for getting hurt. However, the Beta leader shares they're lost because their asthmatic navigator, Mike, failed to read the map correctly. Confused, Johnny orders everyone to return to camp and reset everything. Meanwhile, Maggie spots a house on their path and thinks it's where the map is leading them. Basso suggests getting directions from the people who live there. Team Beta, except for Paul, heads toward the house. Upon entering, they quickly realize it's abandoned. Basso insists on searching upstairs for a phone. Unbeknownst to them, a man is watching them from the outside. Meanwhile, Paul feels uneasy, sensing a strange presence nearby. Returning to camp, Team Alpha is shocked to find the site ransacked. Perry immediately suspects Team Beta stole their supplies, but Lee argues that the other team is lost in the woods. Benson chimes in, suggesting that someone else is messing with them. Hearing this, Perry insults him, causing his colleague to lose his temper and try to hit him. Johnny quickly intervenes, breaking up the fight. Meanwhile, Paul is attacked and captured by 2 men. Inside the house, Basso examines the rooms, unaware that someone is following him. Maggie and Mike head outside, wondering what kind of place they found. When Basso heads downstairs, an archer hits his clothes, getting him stuck on the wall. As he screams, Maggie and Mike worry for him. However, before they can check their teammate, the other men appear to capture them and cover their faces. Worried, Johnny tries to contact Team Beta but only hears his colleagues struggling. Realizing they are in trouble, he and the team rush to their vehicle only to find it's out of gas. Upon examination, the leader quickly realizes that it's been siphoned. Lee scans her surroundings and spots someone across the lake. Using his binoculars, Johnny sees the person pointing at something. To the team leader's shock, a nearby man shoots an arrow, hitting him in the neck and ending his life. Seeing their teammates' untimely demise, Perry, Lee, and Benson get out of the car to escape. Meanwhile, Maggie's brought to Mother Ruth, who orients her that she's now in her new home. Following this, the older woman instructs her men to calm the struggling captive with a sedative. The remaining Alpha members continue running through the woods, searching for a way out. When they stop, someone tries to shoot them with an arrow, but they manage to dodge it. Perry retaliates, shooting the man in the eye with a paintball, causing him to fall and break his back. After this, Benson suggests climbing the hill to get a signal and call for help. Initially, Perry wants to keep moving and stay hidden, but he ends up joining them when Lee supports his colleague's idea. Soon, Benson finally gets a signal and contacts Ranger Rix. He informs him that they're in the northwest section of Jasper Park and have been attacked by archers. Understanding they're in danger, Rix tells them to meet him in the cold spring near the park entrance. Suddenly, their communication gets choppy, leaving the team to follow the last order. Reaching their destination, the trio finally meets the ranger, who promises to take them somewhere comfortable and safe. Along the way, Benson notices that the driver has taken an unusual route instead of the main road. This quickly leads the team to realize that they're in trouble. When Lee asks where they're being taken, the fake ranger doesn't answer. Perry demands to know, but the man temporarily blinds him with pepper spray. Upon reaching their destination, the trio's faces are covered as the men drag them to the same area as Basso and Mike. After taping their mouths, the guards lock Perry and Benson inside a cage. Meanwhile, Lee is taken to Mother Ruth, who orders her to be cleaned up properly before they begin the procedure. In bed, Maggie watches all of this with her hazy perception. Later, Benson bangs his head against the cage, annoying the men and prompting them to take him to another room for interrogation. The fake ranger, who turns out to be Ruth's husband and cult protector, removes his tape and accuses him him of being a part of the FBI. Despite Benson's defense that he's just a computer designer, the man refuses to believe him, bringing up that they shot one of his men with Agent Orange. While Benson insists it was just a paintball, the angry man demands he pay for attempting to reclaim their land. Benson insists again that he and his teammates are not FBI, but the cult protector remains unconvinced and demands more information about their operation. To pressure him, Jethro brings out Paul, who's trapped in a net. The man asks how many people are on his team, including the women. As Benson answers, the cult protector suspects he's hiding something, and in response, hits Paul to his demise. Meanwhile, Mother Ruth visits Lee, who's tied to the bed. Spotting Gwen nearby, the captive quickly recognizes her as the missing woman from the poster. Annoyed by Benson's silence, the cult protector punches him again. When they don't get any information from him, Jethro speculates their captives might not be FBI members after all. However, his leader orders him to finish Benson off. Unbeknownst to them, the man is silently working to free his hands from the ropes. Meanwhile, Basso tries to ask for help upon seeing Mike struggle to breathe. Soon, a guard arrives and removes the tape from the mouth of the asthmatic man. However, he deprives him of his inhaler, leaving him to his demise. Witnessing this, a devastated Basso screams behind the tape. Meanwhile, Perry shouts, drawing the guard's attention. In the other room, Jethro is about to slash Benson, but the captive successfully breaks free from his ropes and fights back. He grabs the mallet, hitting his enemy to his demise. Grabbing the sharp weapon, Benson exits the room and finds a suit and gas mask to disguise himself. Finding a way out, Benson discovers the cult community outside the bunker where they were held captive. Meanwhile, a bound Lee tries to convince Gwen to help her, but the pregnant woman can't. The cultists begin a chant led by Mother Ruth, who signals her son Josiah to plant a seed in Lee, their new vessel. After Benson sees his lifeless colleagues, he immediately returns to the bunker to save the others. Benson then saves Perry from the guard who's beating him up, leaving him unconscious. After freeing his colleague, he releases Basso next, explaining to him that Maggie and Lee are still alive and will be used for breeding. He also reveals that the cult thought they were the FBI. Meanwhile, the guard awakens, prompting Perry to stab him multiple times. Following this, he suggests they gather weapons for self-defense. After ordering her son to impregnate Lee, Ruth goes to the chapel. There, she meets her husband, reminding him to protect their forces against the impure. Meanwhile, the cult protector discovers that their captives escaped, prompting him to order his men to find them. Outside, the trio discuss their plan. Benson orders Basso to go to the other side of the camp to rescue their female colleagues. In the room, Josiah prepares to impregnate Lee, who starts alluring him to untie her. Once free, she kicks his face and runs off. However, he catches her, prompting her to bite his finger. Meanwhile, Basso hides behind a tree while Perry and Benson pour gasoline down to where the cult members are gathered. Perry then shoots, causing a massive explosion. As the bunker burns, the cult protector alerts his men, giving Basso the chance to rescue Maggie, who's hallucinating. Meanwhile, Josiah catches Lee and carries her out of the blazing area. Seeing Maggie's condition, Basso tells her to snap out of it. Suddenly, Gwen appears behind him and gives him the woman's clothes, helping them escape. After Basso takes Maggie outside, he encounters Mother Ruth, who commands Josiah to bring Lee close to them. The cult protector arrives, blowing the air horn and threatening the FBI to show up or he'll end Basso. As the man counts, Perry and Benson surrender, pleading for Lee and Maggie's release. The cult protector, however, explains that their land cannot be changed. While Mother Ruth prays, Basso retrieves a smoke grenade from his pocket. As a strategy, Perry tricks the cult leader into believing that he will tell him about the FBI's operation before headbutting him. Taking advantage of the distraction, Basso puts Mother Ruth in a chokehold, threatening to end her life. As a result, Josiah finally lets go of Lee. Basso then explains they were there for a retreat and don't care about the cult. The others then drop their weapons, but Mother Ruth reveals a knife and stabs him to his demise. Perry then quickly reacts by shooting the older woman, later allowing him and his teammates to run. However, as they find their way out, Perry accidentally triggers a trap in the woods, impaling his gut. Despite his injury, he urges Benson to hand over his weapon. Left with no choice, Benson escapes with the woman while his colleague stays behind to finish off several of the cult members, buying them precious time. As Benson, Lee, and Maggie flee, they narrowly avoid being hit by an archer. Meanwhile, Perry keeps firing at his enemies until he's out of ammunition. Just then, Josiah appears behind him and ends his life. The trio climbs a rock, but Maggie becomes hysterical and uncontrollable, shouting wildly. As Benson and Lee argue about their options, their colleague loses hope and jumps to her demise, leaving the survivors devastated. Despite Maggie's tragic end, Benson urges Lee to keep moving. However, they soon find themselves cornered. With no other options, Benson kisses Lee and holds her hand as they leap into the cold spring, hoping to escape their pursuers. Soon, the duo reaches dry land, exhausted but relieved. At that moment, the cult protector and his men use their vehicle to hunt them down. As they keep running, Benson and Lee find the abandoned house, unaware it's the same place where Team Beta was captured. Upon entering, the duo quickly realize that the house was once the cult's home before they moved into the bunker. Suddenly, they sense someone approaching. Benson grabs an arrow from the table, and after ending their attacker, he and Lee quickly flee the house. Finally, they reach the road and encounter the real Ranger Ricks. However, their pursuers arrive just in time and shoot the man with an arrow. As Lee attends to the Ranger, Benson uses the gun to shoot the cultist and Josiah. Witnessing this, the cult protector tries to run him down but crashes into the Ranger's truck, injuring himself badly. Benson then finishes him off before the vehicle explodes. Following this, Lee hugs him and the cops soon arrive. While receiving medical attention, Benson learns from Agent Tomers that only 2 bodies were found in the scene, meaning one cultist has escaped. The next morning, as the FBI team searches the bunker, an agent spots Gwen and approaches her. However, the woman only warns Tomers to run because Josiah is just right behind her.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.